Hey everyone, welcome back to Braemar Castle Part 2. Hope everybody had a good day and it's nice to talk to you again. And thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for watching and I really appreciate it and I hope you enjoy the castle. Stay tuned, we're going to the castle now. สวัสดีค่ะยินดีต้อนรับสู่ Braemar Castle สกอตแลนด์ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะที่ติดตามแล้วก็ดีใจมากๆที่ได้รู้จักทุกๆคนต้องขอบคุณทุกท่านค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะได้มาดูกันค่ะสวัสดีค่ะค่อยโลHi I'm back
Okay, yeah.
It's all back in now, so.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Beautiful. How beautiful. I think we still got, I don't know, ask him. We put in those little diaries like.
And just for our records, where are you from?
I'm from Glasgow
3D. You look pure Glaswegian.
No original from Thailand but I live in Glasgow
That's okay. That's okay.
4-hour drive to get here
Yeah. Which way did you come?
You got my colleague in there, yeah?
Yeah, great. Thanks.
came on the M9 done
Thank you.
Oh, you came round them. No,
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
get through Glenshee.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Well-
No problem.
Back.
Have a good day.
Explain it.
okay
Right, you're on an audio tour. I haven't given you your sticker.
Very good.
But I have now given you your sticker,
Hi. Thank you very much.
and it's in English.
okay
Okay.
Okay.
If you heard me describe to them.
Yeah.
Outside, press the yellow.
Yes
Come in, go up the spiral staircase. All the rooms are numbered. Just press the number.
right okay okay
That's volume control.
okay
Okay.
thank you
And it's good luck. You
thanks
can't
very
get
much
lost.
Yes.
จะบอก
Make sure you go into 12 rooms.
12 room this castle got 12 room
Yes.
Yes.
Bigger on the inside.
bigger
outside.
yes
Thank you very much.
all room and numbers is the spiral staircase. I'm lucky I can get in this one. Braemar Castle couldn't get in at all. It's not allowed. There's a dining room. There's a nice painting there. Set of drawer. Oh, that's nice bubble. Nice color, very warm red. Noticing the headroom. I'm 5'5". So people know there might be quite short. This item. That painting there belongs to Earl of Mar, who the owner of the castle. Earl of Mar, ขุนนางมา Earl of Mar also known of another name Bobbin Jock. It's not his name. I put more detail in the description to read. This must be a do not touch exhibition. That's tea room. See another room upstairs. This.
The portrait or the photograph. And the photograph, that's the Laird's grandmother Zoe. she's the one who met the castle, but that's a lovely photograph. She was actually a beauty. She was a beauty. So, and the portrait shows you about the gentleman, the laird's great-grandfather, who fought in the Crimea. I was telling you about. Well, this is him as well here, and that lady was his wife.
This tour guy, isn't it?
This gentleman was Colonel James Ross Farquharson. Now, his nickname was Piccadilly Jim. He was very pally. When he came out of the army, he went on the razzle and would go drinking, gambling, enjoying the high life, particularly down in London with the Prince of Wales, Queen Victoria's eldest. So apparently he got the reputation. So they basically, that's from an edition of Vanity Fair from 1870. This is from about a similar period, but it shows you him in his caricature as Piccadilly Jim. Kilt, the Taj, the hat, and the sign for Piccadilly. So apparently, according to the stories, he was one of the lairds who preferred to live at the castle here instead of Invercauld House. And they reckon the reason he chose to live here was to escape his creditors, because he was quite serious because he was gambling.
Is that part of a spinning wheel?
No, once the wool had been spun on a spinning wheel, that would be then tied onto there, and you would take the wheel to wind it into a hank. I don't know whether it, well, I used to sit with my grandmother on with her hands like this,
That's right. Yeah, that's how we
winding
used
it.
to do it.
Yeah, this is known as a cat or a spider. Some people do a wool winder, a little theatre.
I love the theatre, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 1930s reproduction of these Regency type theatres.
Must be the old day for the guy.
With the scenery, you can change the scenery, and you can colour in the characters. And no television in those days, you see.
That's right.
Oh, and this lady here, this is Berkshire. She visited the castle shortly after we reopened the place, and she said, "Is it all right if I have a look round?" She said, "I was born here."
Oh, really?
And this is Susie Selkirk, as she now is. But when she was born here in 1949. These are her parents here, and that's her, and these are her two big sisters. Now, her parents were Lord and Lady Tweedsmuir. Now, Lord Tweedsmuir was the son of the writer John Buchan, who wrote the 39 Steps and Remetal. Now, as the second Lord Tweedsmuir at this time, he was working for the United Nations, and his wife was an MP for Aberdeen South. So that's when they were leasing the castle, late 40s, early 50s.
All right, so
And so Susie was born here, 1949, and she's given us these photographs. I love that one of the crown in front of the castle. And this is the occasion of her christening. She was actually christened in this room here. And,
it's lovely to have it, isn't it?
yeah, it's lovely having it. She says she remembers it being a very homely castle, but she says her nursery was right on the top floor, and her poor nan used to have to carry her from the ground to up the top floor and get out of breath on the way, and put her on one of the windowsills to catch her breath. So. And it's funny actually because Prince Charles, when he came to artificial opening for us, this is a photograph of his signature.
Go see another one. That's bathroom. Its own big bath. This bedroom, nice portable bed. This washroom, so they wash on there. Look at this, we're sitting here, look at the view outside. fireplace to keep the whole room warm. This. It's quite warm.
And this is the Laird's bedroom. And you've got the two corner turret rooms. As I said, originally these would have been the toilet facilities.
Yes.
They would have been changed going foot out, but it was a run.
I wouldn't agree with what you know. I've got my back.
And the Laird's bed dates from the 1830s, so it's hung in Farquharson tartan. I suspect most of you ladies recognise this object.
So I
Oh, quite recently actually.
we were modern, we had rubber ones.
They call these pigs or piggies up his neck of the woods. But this is the room that's allegedly haunted by the ghost of the Black Colonel. And the story goes you're meant to see a shape lying on the bed and the pillow. Well, you can see where his head's been lying, can't you? You're meant to see the glow of his pipe and smell his pipe tobacco. I've never met him personally, but I have occasionally smelled pipe tobacco quite strongly, but not here. It's one of the rooms.
Did he die here, was he?
No, he didn't actually. I don't know why he's supposed to haunt the castle. He was quite an active gentleman in his day, because being a Jacobite, he was always a thorn in the side of the authorities. He was always being hunted by the redcoats.
Yeah.
And in spite of that, he had time to have 30 mistresses dotted all over the side, so he was a busy man. But his last request, apparently, though, to his wife before his death at Inverey was his wish to be buried at Inverey. It's a small place you go through on the way down the Lilley. House is no longer there. His wife ignored this request, though, and on his death, instead, she had him buried in Braemar churchyard just along the way here. But obviously he was not happy about this, and he refused to stay down. They buried him 3 times, and each day the next day, they discovered the coffin beside the grave. So after the 3rd time this happened, they decided they would take the hint, and they took him home to Inverey for burial. They're about to remove the ropes on the coffin when his son said, "You better leave them just in case he wants to give up again." But obviously he stayed put on, back where he wanted to be. But why he haunts the castle, we have no idea. But we have sometimes had storytelling in this room at Halloween, actually. It's quite atmospheric. But I did actually show a group round about 3 years ago. 2 people in my group were not coming in the room. And they said there's a very malevolent presence in here. So I had to reassure everybody. I said the only scary thing in here is the colour scheme. The pink and the yellow, that is quite frightening.
There was a coldness in here.
It's always, mind you, having said that, because of the angle at which the room is, you don't get a lot of daylight in here, unlike some of the other rooms. But, and over here you have some fire escapes. This is dates from the 1900s.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So the theory was, if there was a fire, put the harness on yourself, open the window and jump out.
And those are down the other way.
Health and safety, you're not allowed to use it these days.
I'm not sure I really fancy doing
Well,
that.
I'm looking at the knot, I don't think I would either.
There's lots of reasons I wouldn't like doing that. I was supposed if there was a fire in the building, maybe I might change my mind. But
actually, when the Laird was 14, he did actually try this one out, but it was a bit younger in those days. They do use a similar system offshore, but it's basically what they call an inertia reel. The theory is when you get so far, this will lock. And you gradually lock and release and lock and release. Well, that's a theory, but you don't really want to be putting it to the test, I suppose.
that's what the fun is, isn't it?
And you have the leather the fire bucket, and you have the fire extinguisher.
I feel very effective.
Right, and you also have a very pink bathroom here as well, and another pink turkey, I'm afraid. The loo in there is wonderful. It's one of those really nice Victorian decorated ones. Oh, goodness me. Hey, you come in, that's it. Where you going? You'll go in, I'll close the door and we'll get one room. Oh, they're quite old. It is.
Just keep
What
going.
do you think?
Almost how many rooms there are.
Somebody said to me it's like the TARDIS. It's
Yeah.
from outside.
Yeah,
and
it is as big as
this.
it.
I just
Yeah.
pull the door to so you can have a better. Now you can see here we've had problems with the ceiling in here. It collapsed because of the dry rot, and we're hoping eventually to reinstate the ceiling in here. Trouble is, it's awfully drafty in here, and yet there's another room, there's another level upstairs. It must be to do with the way the beams are lying. I suspect it brings the wind in anyway. But this room one time was being used by the family as a dressing room, connecting through that door into the ladies' guest room. But now we have it as an exhibition about this gentleman here, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Yeah.
It's a really nice photo of him here. But there's a photograph behind you showing the house in the village in Braemar where he spent the summer in 1881. He came here for his health apparently because he had a weak chest, and it rained every day apparently that summer. Difficult to believe. And apparently his stepson got bored. So the two of them were doing these sort of illustrations to hang in an impromptu art gallery in the house. And Robert Louis did this one, and he called it Treasure Island. So he thought, I know, I'll do a story to go with this. So he sat down and wrote the first 16 chapters of Treasure Island to entertain his stepson while he was living here. Of course, when it was published, it became a huge hit, and it was his first major success.
Yes.
The rain is inspirational, you see. And you've got a lovely sculpture here done by an artist called Invercauld of Long John Silver and Jim Hawkins from the book, and he's given it to the castle as a. And this is actually a photocopy of the original school roll when, oh dear, must be the ghost. When Robert Louis was writing his story. And at that time, two of the children at primary school, their father is John Silver. And their surname is Silver, and their father is a John Silver.
So that's where the name
we
came
reckon
from.
he's nicked the name to the character.
Yeah.
But we do know he wasn't a one-legged pirate. Apparently he was a miller. Not quite as exciting as a pirate.
What's the interesting chips there?
Sorry?
The ship there.
Oh, that is meant
Model?
to represent the Hispaniola.
Oh,
You know, the ship in the story, Treasure Island.
Okay.
That was given to us.
It's a long time ago since
So he died when he was 44.
Yes,
Did he really?
44, yeah.
Was it TB?
Well, I always thought
Is
it
it
was
bad
TB, but
chest?
apparently it wasn't. I reckon what he had was like chronic bronchitis. And sometimes the cures for these sort of things are nearly as bad as a disease, because they used to use things like arsenic and, you know, they used to give you some really strong drugs for these, so it could have been, you know, it's just a weak chest basically. But this is a photograph of when he died, because he died out in Samoa. And I think he's buried out there. I'll need to find out about this, because sometimes they used to move the bodies, you know, and bring them back to the UK. But as far as I'm aware, he was buried out there, because there was a little, I remember seeing a photograph of the gravestone, and the locals used to love him out there because his local name meant storyteller. It's a nice legacy to leave, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
This is the ladies' guest room. You see, can't we? This sort of room gets a lot of sunshine, but some of the other rooms don't get so much. So, and you've got the old-fashioned brass bedstead, the warming pan, and I love that washstand in that corner. I really like that one. It's beautiful. They won't let me take that one home. Now, but this lady here, now she was a daughter of the family. She was an Anne Farquharson. She married an Enos Mackintosh, and at the time of the very last Jacobite uprising of '45, she was living at Moy Hall near Inverness. She promised Bonnie Prince Charlie to raise the Clan Mackintosh for him when he came over, drumming up support for his father. Now her husband, however, was fighting for the other side. He was in the Black Watch, so they had a deep falling out over this. But she rode all round the area with a gun and a pistol, a gun and a sword, and she raised 300 men to fight for the prince. Wow. And it's done in the roll for Culloden as Lady Mackintosh's regiment. She was nicknamed Colonel Anne. She had a lot of adventures. One time her husband was actually taken prisoner by the Jacobites. She ransomed him into her care. And when they were reunited after having been apart for quite a while, she curtsied to him and said, Captain. He bowed to her and said, Colonel. But anyway, at one point she actually helped Bonnie Prince Charlie escape from her house when it was surrounded by government troops by a trick. She managed to make the surrounding troops think there was a whole regiment of Jacobites in the house by getting her servants to make lots of noise around the house and shouting to each other and firing off the odd pistol. And so the surrounding troops retreated rapidly. And it was known locally as the Rout of Mar. She was actually imprisoned in Inverness jail at the end of the rebellion for her part in it. And her husband pleaded for her life, and she was released, and the two of them were reunited apparently. So.
It's quite a life then, isn't it?
Yes.
What a lady.
Wow.
And there was a novel written about her adventures a few years ago called White Rose Rebel,
Oh,
because the white rose was a symbol of the Jacobites.
Yes.
It was either the white rose or the white cocarde. And in the cabinet you've got a bit of body print of Charlie's tartan. We think this is reasonably authentic because we've had a gentleman recently who knows all about these tartans. He's doing a study of all these bits of tartan all over Scotland, allegedly belonging to Body Prince Charlie. And we were a bit sceptical about this, but he looked at it, he said, no, he says it's the right period and it's the right sort of weft and weave. And he says if it is the genuine one, he says it's the biggest one he's ever seen, biggest example.
all right.
Yeah. Because we always used to reckon there were all these
It
bits
is,
of tartan
yeah,
all over
it's-
Scotland and they all
somebody-
belonged to Body Prince Charlie.
yeah,
We think by the
yeah,
time he got
yeah,
home,
killed.
the lockdown to France, he would have been stark naked, I think, you know. Oh goodness, yes. They're wonderful. We found these in one of literally one of the drawers.
Wow.
They're wonderful. Now we get packs of two in Marks and Spencer, I reckon. So. No, I think Queen Victoria's were even bigger than that.
She
Because-
did get rather large, didn't she?
Because
She was
she
bigger
did.
round than
Because you
what
see, these
she
were
was
drawn.
tall, wasn't she?
That's why they call them drawers, I suppose,
Yes.
because you used to have a drawstring and you could draw them so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that'd be
Elastic.
quite modest.
There's been some kerfuffle about people, the prices of larger garments being more than the prices of smaller ones. Yeah. In this day and
Take more material.
and they're saying, you know, that's to encourage people to as well as taking more material.
I was talking about the lady who was born here, her nursery, that was the
Yes,
nursery
there were.
level
Some
above
big
us
clothes.
here.
Yeah.
That was where her nursery was. There are 2 bedrooms and a bathroom up there. We can't access it now, but there was a mesh set in there which has been removed for repainting, but this is put in to let a bit of natural light on this level at one time.
Even if you can do the roof and you'll get back up there.
Well, you go up that way.
Oh.
Go up that stair.
Well, but once you've done the ceilings, presumably you can go back up that you hopefully will be able to use
Well, I'm
them
not
again.
sure about that. Apparently it's all to do with fire regulation, strangely, because they reckon that the local fire brigade, their ladder will reach as far as here.
All right.
But any further than this, then if there's a fire and you're up there,
Right, they
they
couldn't.
have to send away for one of the turntable ladders.
It'd take
It
too
would take
long.
quite a while. I think it'll be over by the time we got here. So it's all to do with health and safety, apparently. So we've got an archive room up there, so we access that. So
Yes.
anyway, it saves the problems of trying to furnish them as well.
Well, yeah.
Although we did have a nice nursery at one time in the old Victorian section, which is gone now. But sadly, when all the stuff went for sale, all that nursery stuff went just like that because it's very popular. So we've got a couple of the odds, but not the main stuff. The big picture shows you Invercauld House. That's the one in the distance we were looking at, the original seat of the family. It's now been leased on a 30-year lease, this place, to a Swiss billionaire. He's the gentleman who's doing up the Five Arms Hotel at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Taking it a long time about it as well. However, the original part of the building is this. That dates back to the 16th century. A lot of that frontage work was rebuilt in the 19th century, and locally that process was known as Balmoralisation.
Yes, I see.
This is the family history room. As the name implies, it's all to do with the family over the years. In this corner here, we have what they call a cabinet of curiosities. When you went on your travels in those days, you would pick up your bits and pieces on your travels, you know, odds and ends to bring them back to put on display. So you've got shells, fossils, and the fossil of like a map of Texas and all these sort of odds and ends. So it's quite a nice idea actually. And then you've got here that the Laird's first wife Frances and her fashion shows and her setting up the Braemar Festival Theatre. That used to take place in the church opposite the Invercauld Hotel. It's been turned into flats now, but from the 50s through to the early 80s that was the venue for it. She was very good, Frances, at having American visitors particularly to stay at the castle here, and they liked staying at a genuine Scottish castle And she used to organise taxis to take them into the village. Well, she just happened to own a couple of the shops, and they weren't allowed to leave until they spent a lot of money. Now, she died in 1991, Frances, and Captain Farquharson remarried again 19 years ago when he was 80. And this is him with his second wife, Patricia. And that was taken about 10 years ago, that photograph. And over here, these two ones show you the Laird's great-grandfathers. This is Piccadilly Jim, again, looking a little bit slimmer. This is shortly after he left school and when he joined the Scots Fusiliers.
Before he got into his bad
Before he got into his bad habits. And you've got here a little miniature of himself and his wife Louise. And then his wife Louise used this ceremonial spade and barrow to cut the turf when the railway got to Ballater in 1864.
Very nice.
It's been beautifully done. They were going to continue after that with the railway all the way out to Braemar. But it never happened because Queen Victoria didn't like the idea of a dirty railway line coming near her nice house. So she put her royal foot down and it never got here. But in the meantime, they built this building in the village next to the Invercauld Arms Hotel to house the ticket office.
Oh, right.
So we've got the ticket office but no railway.
I think I noticed something when we walked through.
Yeah, well, later on, it was used as a bus station later on.
Mm.
And in fact, earlier on, it was coaches would pick up passengers from the train station and bring them out to Braemar. And then later on, the buses started using it. And this is what I love, the old-fashioned charabanc type thing. When they renovated the building about 8 years ago now, and this was all painted over with the Bluebird Bus Company sign. And so when it was all cleaned up, that was found underneath. So it's all been reinstated now. It's actually a house now, but so there we go. It's typical Braemar. Got the ticket office, but no railway line.
It was on the map, actually. I saw the
I think they
So now battery, so I have to look quickly. Close. Quite close now. Shoes. Better. Weak.
It's a family tree. Actually, Prince Charles signed the Peasants' Book downstairs, so.
Wetan. Sindak room.
Hello.
Hi, thank you, guy.
Thanks. Did you enjoy?
I enjoy. I did. See the guy, your tour guy.
Oh right.
Yeah,
So
it was quite useful, you know. But
yes.
I was now battery, so I'm going to go.
Okay.
Earl of Mar. Selfie. Selfie. That was nice. The tour guide for about 10-15 minutes was great. But I ran out of battery again. And it does finish in it. That was the last room. And up the other room, they couldn't go out there because it's damaged. Thanks very much for joining in and ขอบคุณมากค่ะที่เข้ามาดู and I hope everybody doing well and have a great weekend. Have a nice day. What do you do? Take care of yourself and I love you all. See you soon. Thank you.